to discuss about, and I would love if you guys can keep on giving your inputs throughout the seminar, throughout the this webcast. Now the thing is कि इसकी importance क्या है और हम क्यों इस बारे में discussion कर रहे हैं, इसकी definition क्या है, what exactly it stands for, इसका purpose क्या है, how important your work is, ये आप सब जानते हैं. It is just like the reminder of what you guys are exactly doing over there in your working practice day to day life. So with that much, I'm starting. I found this quote very inspiring for all of us. Constant attention by a good nurse may be just as important as a major operation by a surgeon. So it holds true everywhere. और हमारा हम डे टू डे लाइफ में भी देखते हैं आईसीयू केयर के अंदर जब भी पेशेंट सिक हो, बेटर हो रहा हो, और इन विच एवर एरिया, विच एवर जोन द पर्सन's clinical status lies, constant nursing, constant attention, and a good practice, they always make a huge lot of difference in patient's final outcome. So with that much, the nursing handover in ICU, I'm starting over here. So first, definition and purpose. हम exactly we all know कि होता क्या है nursing, but to put it into words, the nursing handover is a formal process for transferring responsibility. The key word here is responsibility. You guys may be good at nursing. You guys might have been very skillful. आप सारी चीजें खुद से ही कर रहे होंगे, but आपका पहले वाला और आपके बाद वाला, which makes you guys as a team. So उनका भी उतना ही स्किलफुल होना या उतना आपका जो सारा नॉलेज है वो शेयर करना इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. सो हियर इन आईसीयू वी वर्क एज ए टीम रादर देन एज ए पर्सन, एंड व्हेन टीम थिंग्स कम्स तो देयर लाइज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कि जो हम जो बेटन पास ओवर कर रहे हैं वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी का है. इट इज नॉट ओनली क्लिनिकल स्टेटस के बारे में, पेशेंट का नाम, आईडी, ये हमने बता दिया. The whole thing goes to other team as a responsibility. So it is a formal process for transferring responsibility from the outgoing nurse to the incoming nurse through effective communication, involving the exchange of patient related information such as medical history, clinical condition, plan of the treatment, and all the changes which you guys might have observed in your shift, या किसी secondary team का कुछ input है which they want to do and which primary team or the ICU team disagrees to or agrees to. ये सारी चीजें हमारे हैंडओवर में प्रोसेस में होती हैं. द एम ऑफ नर्सिंग हैंडओवर इज टू इंश्योर कंटिन्यूटी एंड सेफ्टी ऑफ पेशेंट केयर बाय मेकिंग श्योर दैट ऑल रिलेवेंट इंफॉर्मेशन इज क्लियरली कम्युनिकेटेड. सो बेसिकली हमारे पास इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिस्टम है. हम अपना हैंडओवर जब बेड साइड देते होते हैं, आई अज्यूम कि हमारे पूरे नर्सिंग स्टाफ जहाँ पे भी वी गाइज आर बीइंग टेलीकास्टिंग, तो वहाँ सब जगह हम यही प्रैक्टिस करते होंगे कि वी गिव हैंड ओवर बेड साइड रादर देन एट द काउंटर और रादर देन एट सम क्वाइट एरिया अपार्ट, quite a distant from the patient. So the aim is to ensure continuity and safety of patient care by making sure that all relevant information is clearly being communicated. So which we all do. It maintains timely attention to patient priorities, reduces the risk of errors or omissions, and provides an opportunity to clarify ambiguities and reinforce care plans. अब यहाँ पे जो हमारी चेंजिंग प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, जो वी गाइज आर नाउ बीइंग बोरिंग समथिंग from ICUs of Europe, what they guys are practicing is they involve family very oftenly. पूरे ही टाइम लगभग फैमिली का एक मेंबर, if they wish to stand over there besides the patient or wants to sit over there, they make some arrangements, necessary arrangements to make them sit, just a person, so that not only to help patient's mental status but also sideways to supports us also. जो डॉक्टर और पेशेंट के बीच का इंटरेक्शन है उसको स्मूथ करने के लिए, नर्सिंग और पेशेंट के बीच का जो इंटरेक्शन है उसको कूल करने के लिए, ताकि पेशेंट जो है वो उसको एक्सेप्टेंस भी रहे. दूसरा, इंफॉर्मेशन पास ऑन कई बार होती है तो व्हाट वी गाइस हैड ऑब्जर्व्ड कि हम कुछ ना कुछ मिस कर जाते हैं या कुछ डेविएशन थोड़ा बहुत आ जाता है. सो टू करेक्ट दैट ऑल्सो देयर लाइज द पेशेंट रिलेटिव या पेशेंट जो अवेक है आपका, दे कैन हेल्प यू कि आप क्या सही या क्या गलत कर रहे हैं. सो इट इज अ गुड थिंग. इट ऑल्सो सपोर्ट्स द टीम बिल्डिंग. अब आपके टीम में कोई नया ज्वाइन हुआ है विच इज नॉट स्किलफुल एज यू गाइज आर, ऑब्वियसली जो जूनियर्स आते हैं दे आर नॉट very much to be relied upon. So it basically builds the team and mentors the junior person which is just joining you guys in. Also promoting a shared understanding of responsibilities and professional goals amongst the team. So this is about the definition and purpose of nursing handover. Now comes the importance. So एक अच्छे इफेक्टिव हैंडओवर की इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है, क्या क्वालिटीज होती हैं? सो इट प्रिवेंट्स द मेडिकल एरर्स, जो कि विच वी ऑल नो इज अ डिजास्टर इन आवर प्रोफेशन, विच शुड नॉट हैपन, विच इज अ बिग नो नो, not acceptable in any circumstances. So it prevents a medical, all sort of medical errors. It reduces the risk of medication errors, mistreatments, or overlooked changes in patient status by delivering clear, consistent information about the care plan and interventions. This we all know. Enhancing continuity of care में हमारा effective handover, it helps. It supports seamless transition between shift or care teams so that care is maintained without interruption or loss of critical details. It helps in early detection of deterioration of clinical condition of a patient. It ensures that warning signs or significant changes in patient condition are communicated and acted upon promptly, aiding timely intervention. Many a times, in fact, lots of time this happens कि डॉक्टर्स जो हैं वो इफ दे आर बिजी विद सम पेशेंट्स, और यहाँ पे हमारे किसी पेशेंट को जिसको हम नर्सिंग कर रहे हैं उसके कुछ पैरामीटर में हमें चेंज आया, सडनली ब्लड प्रेशर्स फॉल हुए, सेचुरेशन फॉल हुआ, ब्लड प्रेशर्स बढ़ गए, और वट एवर सॉर्ट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स दे कैन हैव. सो आप लोग अर्ली पिक करके एंड इट कम्युनिकेटिंग इट टू द डॉक्टर, वो आप हम उसमें हेल्प कर सकते हैं सो एज टू कैच दैट अर्ली एंड मैनेज दैट अर्ली रादर देन टू क्रिएट इट अ बिग डीमन आउट ऑफ इट. देन इट सपोर्ट्स क्लिनिकल डिसीजन मेकिंग. जो भी आप लोगों का जो नर्सिंग स्टाफ एंड द डॉक्टर्स, बोथ ऑफ देम, जो क्लिनिकल डिसीजन मेकिंग है उसमें ये हैंड ओवर हेल्प करता है. इट प्रोवाइड्स इनकमिंग स्टाफ विद द कंटेक्स्ट एंड रैशनल बिहाइंड ट्रीटमेंट्स, enabling informed decision that optimize patients outcomes. यहाँ पे हम अपने स्टाफ से भी, जो हमारे नर्सेज हैं और जो काफी मेहनत करते हैं, उन सब से हम एक रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि यू शुड नो व्हाट ऑल ट्रीटमेंट अ पर्सन, अ पेशेंट इज रिसीविंग, और उसके पीछे का राशनेल क्या है. अब आप कहेंगे, जैसे इसका एग्जांपल तो ये होता है बेसिकली, अब जैसे इफ अ पर्सन केम्स टू अस डायरेक्टली विदाउट एनी रिपोर्ट बट वी हैड बीन कम्युनिकेटेड कि हाँ इस पर्सन का पल्मोनरी ट्यूबरक्यूलोसिस है, and since past 15-20 days this patient is receiving this medication. So a person must ask, जो भी आप नर्सिंग केयर कर रहे हैं, कि आपने एटीटी स्टार्ट क्यों किया? क्या वाकई ये पल्मोनरी ट्यूबरक्यूलोसिस है, या ये और कहीं किसी जगह का ट्यूबरक्यूलोसिस है? व्हाट इज द रैशनल बिहाइंड द ट्रीटमेंट? जो एंटीबायोटिक दे रहे हैं, हम ये पूछ सकते हैं कि व्हाई दिस एंटीबायोटिक ओनली. सो नेक्स्ट टाइम के लिए डिसीजन मेकिंग में प्लस असिस्टेंस जो होता है, पूरी टीम का जो प्रॉपर कहना चाहिए कम्युनिकेशन है, इट स्मूथन्स डाउन, और आप लोगों को भी सीखने को मिलता है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, इट प्रमोट अकाउंटेबिलिटी एंड टीम वर्क. ऑब्वियसली इट डज. इट ऑल्सो फैसिलिटेट्स म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी among healthcare professionals, contributing to a culture of safety and collaboration. It improves patients' experience and trust. Obviously, जो बात नर्स ए जिसने पेशेंट को रिसीव किया है वो कह रही है, सेम थिंग इज बीइंग टोल्ड बाय नर्स बी, सेम थिंग इज बीइंग टोल्ड बाय नर्स सी, एंड ओवर द होल टीम फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ द आईसीयू स्टे ऑफ अ पर्सन. सो हम ये मान सकते हैं कि जो पेशेंट है वो एटलीस्ट इस तरीके से रिलेक्टेंट होता है, रिलाइड अपॉन होता है नर्सिंग स्टाफ पे, कि वट एवर दे आर ट्रीटिंग इज राइट एंड आई एम इन अ सेफ हैंड, रादर देन हम एक इंफॉर्मेशन पास करें दूसरा टीम को, एंड दूसरे टीम गलती से अगर कुछ पास कर दे गलत इंफॉर्मेशन. सो एक लैक ऑफ ट्रस्ट, जो ब्रीच ऑफ ट्रस्ट होता है, इट इज वेरी रॉन्ग ऑन आवर पार्ट. सो अ कंसिस्टेंट कम्युनिकेशन रिड्यूसेस रिपीटेड क्वेश्चंस. जो पेशेंट की अप्रीहेंसिव से रहते हैं वो भी कम हो जाते हैं. कोई आपके यहाँ पे जो टीम्स, जो इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी जो मैनेजमेंट हम करते हैं बेसिकली आईसीयू में, रादर देन जस्ट अ पर्सन ट्रीटिंग द आईसीयू, सो उनके बीच में जो एक कम्युनिकेशन होता है वो इजी हो जाता है, वो अप्रोप्रिएट हो जाता है. इट डिलेज द एंग्जाइटी, डिलेज एंड एंग्जाइटी, एनहांसिंग पेशेंट्स एंड फैमिली कॉन्फिडेंस इन द केयर प्रोसेस. सो पेशेंट पार्टी के लिए भी ये हेल्पफुल होता है. सो नाउ अब कि नर्सिंग हैंडओवर्स जो हमारे होते हैं वो लगभग होते कई सारी जगह से पेशेंट्स हमारे पास आते होते हैं. फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट जिसकी हम मेजरली बात कर रहे हैं वो है हमारा जो बेड साइड में हम नर्सिंग हैंडओवर का एक्सचेंज करते हैं फ्रॉम टीम 1 टू टीम 2 जो टेक ओवर होते हैं। अब यही चीज़ हमारा वार्ड से पेशेंट आ सकता है, कोई पेशेंट वहाँ पे सिक हुआ या हमारे यहाँ से वार्ड में जा सकता है। द प्रिंसिपल रिमेन्स द सेम कि हमारे पास एप्रोप्रिएट इन्फॉर्मेशन गैदर्ड होनी चाहिए, उसको कहने का एप्रोप्रिएट तरीका होना चाहिए और एक अकाउंटेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए उसमें। एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जो होती है उसके ट्रांसफरेंस का एप्रोप्रिएट एक मेजर होना चाहिए सो दैट सारे ही लोग जो हमारी टीम में हैं दे शुड नॉट फॉल थ्रू। इसके अलावा हमारे पास ओटी एरिया से, इमरजेंसी एरिया से, कैथ लैब से, किसी और एंडोस्कोपी सुइट से काफी सारी जगह से पेशेंट आईसीयू में आ रहे होते हैं या फिर वहां पे जा रहे होते हैं। सो सारे हैंडओवर के फॉर्मेट्स बेसिकली रिमेन्स द सेम। आई गेस ऑल ऑफ यू गाइस आर बीइंग यूजिंग एस बार thing to make it visible, to make documentation proper, and to give an appropriate handover. So principles and standards of handover की हम बात करेंगे. So key principles जो होते हैं वो हमारा information gathering से शुरू होता है to prepare ourselves that yes, we are having all the information. Apart from that, not just the information gathering, to organize it in a fashion so that you guys can communicate it to other person in a proper manner. And communicating, last thing comes the communication from team A to team B. अब इसके जो स्टैंडर्डाइज टूल हैं वो आई पास हैं जो अमेरिका में और कई जगह पे यूज होता है। हमारे यहाँ पे एस बार टूल यूज होता है इसका, विच वी ऑल नो कि हमारा एस बार टूल जो है वो सिचुएशन, बैकग्राउंड, असेसमेंट एंड रिकमेंडेशन, एक्रोनिम स्टैंड्स फॉर दैट। सो सिचुएशन में बेसिकली ये हम डेली बेसिस पे कर रहे हैं। आई एम जस्ट रिमाइंडिंग यू गाइस। सो person A, the nursing staff A, tells about himself or herself to other person, the other party which he or she is giving handover to, and then patient के बारे में brief करते हैं, नाम, GNID और आपका एज, सेक्स, उसकी जो डिसीज प्रोसेस है, why the person had arrived in ICU, or if a person is arriving to ICU, why the person had arrived in ICU, what all warning signs I am realizing it right now. इसके बाद में फिर आता है हमारा बैकग्राउंड, that the patient was admitted from in this area of the ICU hospital, or the patient is coming from ER with these sort of complaints. इसका provisional diagnosis क्या है, what all teams are involved. Then comes the assessment, जिसमें हमारा ये आता है पार्ट कि बेसिकली जो नर्सिंग स्टाफ हैंडओवर दे रहा है उसका असेसमेंट क्या है पर से रिगार्डिंग द पेशेंट, ब्लड प्रेशर, हार्ट रेट एंड ये सारी चीजें जो आती हैं, जो इन्फॉर्मेशन हमने गैदर करी है रियल टाइम में वो, या कोई प्रीवियस से अभी में चेंज आया है वो, जैसे वेसोप्रेशर्स बढ़ाने की जरूरत पड़ी है, जैसे FiO2 बढ़ाने की जरूरत पड़ी है, जैसे जो चेंजेस आए हैं ड्यूरिंग ड्यूटी कि हमें किसी पेशेंट को वेंटिलेटर पे लेना पड़ा है। सो इस तरीके की जो की इंफॉर्मेशन है वो हम असेसमेंट में पास ऑन करते हैं। देन कम्स द रिकमेंडेशन। In case if this happens, then what should be the thing, what team to be involved, what person to be contacted to. अगर कुछ ड्रेन लीक हो रहा है तो किससे बात कर सकते हैं, अगर कुछ और टाइप की परेशानी है तो अप्रोप्रिएट पर्सन कौन है जिससे हम कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं। दिस कम्स इन द रिकमेंडेशन। सो दिस इज हाउ एन अप्रोप्रिएट हैंड ओवर फ्रॉम पार्टी 1 to party 2 occurs, which I assume that we all are doing in our day-to-day practice. It is nothing new which I was talking about. So this is how structure and delivery happens, and essential information to include our patient identity, condition, ongoing care and needs, which is already been included in the SBAR thing. अब इसको हम थोड़ा एग्जांपल से समझते हैं। वैसे तो वी ऑल नो कि कैसे कोई चीज हमारे हैंडओवर से मिस होके पेशेंट का नुकसान कर सकती है, हमारा नुकसान कर सकती है, हॉस्पिटल का नुकसान कर सकती है। एंड वहीं अच्छा हैंडओवर एक फॉर्मेट में, एक प्रॉपर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन के साथ, एक प्रॉपर जो लीगल उसके रैशनल्स हैं उसको समझते हुए, मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट के रैशनल को समझते हुए जब हम देते हैं तो उनके दोनों में दे मेक हेल लॉट ऑफ अ डिफरेंस। सो हियर इज एन एग्जांपल। नर्स ए said, patient Mr. Singh admitted with a severe pneumonia is currently on antibiotic vasopressor support. Central line is right subclavian, and the vitals last recorded was 110/60 blood pressure, pulse was 98, saturation 95%, with an FiO2 of 0.5% over ventilator support. He is on meropenem, 1 gram of meropenem he is receiving every 8th hourly. The right now vasopressor support is norepi at 4 ml per hour. there were no new issues overnight. That what he had observed. He is saying that on these static parameters, the person is being managed upon. Staff B receives the handover, but nurse A forget to mention that due to rising creatinine, the nephrologist had advised during the night time reducing the meropenem dose to 500 mg every 8th hourly, starting today. So basically हम देखें तो हमें ऐसा लगेगा हमारी डे टू डे प्रैक्टिस में वी आर सो मच engaged into our work की छोटी सी इंफॉर्मेशन थी वो मिस हो गई. Now what it can do, and it did, actually it is from a real case which we had observed. So the mistake, the change in meropenem dose was not communicated. Consequence ये हुआ, nurse B continued the previous dose of 1 gram, resulting in higher drug exposure. By the next shift, Mr. Singh's renal function worsens, creatinine rose, requiring dialysis. The nephrologist point out the error was in missed handover update. So basically the nephrologist had told कि जिस भी व्यक्ति को उन्होंने कंसर्न स्टाफ को बताया था कि दैट meropenem dose should be modified is being missed by the nursing staff because he or she hadn't noted down and unable to pass that handover to the next team. So that is how, that is a bad example of giving a nursing handover which should not be done in our vicinity. The remedy, the always by rule, always use written or electronic checklist to record and confirm all treatment changes during handover. हमारे हैंडओवर में हम जनरली ऐसा समझते हैं कि मेजर कंसर्न्स जो हैं which a doctor wants to listen, which a patient party wants to listen, or another team which is taking handover from us wants to listen is कि ब्लड प्रेशर कम ज्यादा हो गया, हमने वेजो प्रेशर बढ़ाने पड़े या कम करने पड़े, हमारा FiO2 कम ज्यादा करना पड़ा. ये मोटे मोटे डोमेन्स होते हैं. But what we usually miss is the little thing which we won't do on a regular basis. So how to mitigate this thing is we should have a checklist of ours. आप अपना बना सकते हैं, आप बोरो कर सकते हैं. Checklists are being available on AI अब तो, so आप वो यूज कर सकते हैं so that everything is being answered upon, every minutest of change can be transferred to the upcoming team so that उस प्रॉब्लम को बड़ा होने के पहले, उस डिटीरियरेशन को बढ़ने के पहले हम उसको अकॉर्डिंगली मैनेज कर सकें. Second thing what we can do is read back and verbally confirm any new medication or dose adjustments, especially for critical drugs or organ dysfunction. जैसे सेप्टिक शॉक का पेशेंट है उसके लिए एंटीबायोटिक जरूरी है. जैसे माइकार्डियल इन्फेक्शन, हार्ट अटैक, MI का पेशेंट है उसके लिए एंटीप्लेटलेट्स, एंटीकोगुलेशन ड्रग्स जरूरी हैं, स्टैटिन्स जरूरी है. जैसे हमारा और कोई जो भी बीमारी होती है उसके लिए अकॉर्डिंगली जो रिलेवेंट ड्रग्स जरूरी हैं. सो वी शुड आस्क देम वंस कि डोज अप्रोप्रिएट गया कि नहीं, मिस तो नहीं हुआ, स्पिल तो नहीं हुआ. सेकेंड थिंग, हमें ये पूछना चाहिए कि इसको मॉडिफाई करने की जरूरत तो नहीं है अकॉर्डिंग टू रीनल फंक्शन, लीवर फंक्शन. इसके लिए इफ वी हैव टू टॉक टू आवर ट्रीटिंग डॉक्टर, वी शुड डिस्कस दिस विद देम टू. वी कैन इंक्लूड देम ऑल्सो इन आवर हैंडओवर कि इसका क्या करना है. एट दैट टाइम ओनली इफ वी गेट अ क्लियर आइडिया रिगार्डिंग द ट्रीटमेंट, तो हम उसको बहुत आराम से इजीली टेकल करते हुए इन एन अप्रोप्रिएट मैनर ट्रीट कर सकते हैं. इसके बाद कुछ चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जैसे क्लेक्सेन है, जैसे हमारा एंटीकोगुलेशन है. सो समटाइम्स व्हाट हैपेंस इज अ पर्सन गिव्स क्लेक्सेन, गिव्स एंटीकोगुलेशन, observes bleeding in another 4 to 6 hours. If this information is, if he or she is unable to pass to the next team, and next team also gives the क्लेक्सेन जो anticoagulation continues, so bleeding menace can be there. So to stop it, we should inform to the duty doctor जो भी है. सेकेंड, जब हम इंफॉर्मेशन पास ऑन कर रहे हैं, देन वी शुड से कि एंटीकोगुलेशन का काम है ब्लड थिन करना. सो व्हाट आई हैड ऑब्जर्व्ड इज कि इसको एक्सेसिव ब्लीडिंग हो रही है, सो वी शुड होल्ड ऑन, और एटलीस्ट वी शुड ask this to the treating doctor that whether we should continue this thing or we should hold. This is how the things rolls. Encourage staff to ask clarifying questions and check provider notes for recent changes. Generally what happens is, if a person, ये खासकर होता है जब कोई न्यू कमर आते हैं एंड दे आर लिटिल बिट ऑफ स्मार्ट, उस टाइम पे ये होता है कि जो प्रीवियस पर्सन जो हैंडओवर दे रहा होता है, he or she thinks that why he or she is asking me so much of questions. But this should be encouraged. आपको और कुछ तो नहीं पूछना है. आफ्टर एंडिंग ऑफ आवर स्पीच ऑफ हैंडओवर हमें सेकंड पर्सन से पूछना चाहिए, इफ एनीथिंग हैड लेफ्ट you can ask back again right now so as to clear all the questions. Right now, comes a good example. So, a outgoing nurse using the S bar format, this is how he or she passes handover to the next person. So, I am Priya, handing over the care of Mr. Rajiv Sharma in bed number 3. He was admitted yesterday with septic shock secondary to pneumonia. I am concerned about his recent drop in blood pressures and increased oxygen requirement. Background of the patient was that he is a 65-year-old male admitted on 11th of November with a history of COPD and hypertension. He underwent central line insertion and was started on piperacillin, tazobactam, and vasopressors. These all are nothing new. You have already heard it. Overnight, his creatinine rose from 1.4 to 2.4, which oftenly happens in a bad pneumonia. And nephrology recommended adjusting his fluid balance and medication accordingly. On our assessment, currently, patient is sedated on ventilator, FiO2 of 60%, saturation 93%, blood pressures of 110 on 65, on Norepi support of 5 ml per hour. Urine output fell to 25 ml per hour since last 2 hours. The team stopped furosemide and reduced IV fluids. I administered 500 mg of piperacillin tazobactam as per the latest renal dose adjustment. So, this is how an appropriate handover should be communicated to the next team. The recommendation of that nurse is monitor urine output and hemodynamic closely this morning. Please double check renal dosing before each antibiotic administration. If urine outputs remains low or BP drops fall further, call nephrologist and critical care consultant without a delay. So this is a proper format. So the positive impact on patient outcome will be assured by these things, that review notes, verifying renal dose adjustment, highlighting the importance of close monitoring. This nurse had done to the second team, and this upcoming nurse will do all these things. If he or she detects a further drop in urine output, prompt call will be raised. Early action leads to nephrology drug adjustments, preventing further progression of kidney injury will be halted. Result: clear, thorough communication using S-bar enabled the incoming nurse to catch decline urine output quickly, leading to timely intervention and improved patient outcomes. So the key message is a structured, focused handover directly impacts patient safety and clinical outcomes, emphasizing the power of excellent teamwork and communication in the ICU setting. I know you all must be aware, ये आपके साथ भी हुआ होगा, ऐसा नहीं मैं मान सकता, कि जनरली हम बैड एग्जांपल्स ही देख रहे हैं, गुड एग्जांपल्स नहीं है. देयर मस्ट बी some early picking of things by nursing staff which had been communicated appropriately to the treating doctor, and the person could have mitigated those problems is being saved in a timely fashion. So it is a well-known saying that save one life, you are a hero, and save 100 lives, you are a nurse. So our profession is so noble that it can't be compared to anything. ये just numbers इसके लिए बताया so that we can get a view की how important our work is. And once we start understanding that our work is so important in making a change in other person's life, we do it more aptly. हम और अच्छे से वो काम करने लगते हैं क्योंकि जब हमें मालूम पड़ता है. And believe me, do one thing, pick one thing ऐसी जो एस बार में होती है या नर्सिंग हैंडओवर में हम दे रहे होते हैं, and which makes a difference in another person's lives. You will feel so good that from the next time onwards, आगे से आगे हम ये कोशिश करते रहेंगे कि हमें और भी कुछ ऐसा नया पता पड़े, so that we can make these changes oftenly to a person. So now comes the communication strategies, the techniques for clarity and conscious communications. स्ट्रक्चर्ड फॉर्मेट्स होना चाहिए जो हमारे पास बेसिकली इस बार आई बार हम यूज करते हैं, आई पास कुछ जगह यूज होता है. फेस टू फेस हैंडओवर होता है, वी डोंट टेक और गिव हैंडओवर ओवर फोन्स. रिटर्न एंड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सपोर्ट होता है हमारे पास. बेसिकली HIS सिस्टम के अंदर हमारे पास वो सारे पैरामीटर्स होते हैं जो एस बार में इंक्लूडेड हैं, इंक्लूडिंग पेशेंट वाइटल्स, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द नेम, एज, डेट, सेक्स, सब जो वाइटल्स हैं, उनकी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, जो डिटीरियोरेशंस हैं, ब्लड प्रेशर्स हैं, और सारी चीज़ें जो हमें लग रहा है कि हमें अपने रिकमेंड करनी चाहिए, वो सारी चीज़ें उस फॉर्मेट में होती हैं. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, रीड बैक एंड कंफर्मेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, कि हम पूछ के वापस से कि क्या इसमें कुछ छूट तो नहीं रहा है और कुछ बच तो नहीं रहा है. वी शुड हैव अ फीडबैक कन्वर्सेशन, फीडबैक लूप ऑफ लाइक दिस सॉर्ट. पेशेंट एंड फैमिली का इन्वॉल्वमेंट हमने बात करी. इट इज वेरी अप्रिशिएटिव कि अगर हम अपने शिफ्ट में पेशेंट फैमिली में से किसी को अगर हमें ज़रूरत है तो आगे से बढ़ के पूछ लेना कि इनकी कोई और मेडिसिन मिस तो नहीं हो रही है, कोई और टाइमिंग मिस तो नहीं हो रहा है. जनरली व्हाट हैपेंस इज सम मेडिकेशंस, सम ट्रीटमेंट्स आर टाइम बाउंड. जैसे पार्किंसोनिज्म हम देते हैं सिंडोपा, उसमें सो सिंडोपा हैड स्पेसिफिक टाइम सेट कि हमें उसी टाइम पे देना होता है, अदरवाइज उसका लैप्स होता चला जाता है, एंड वंस दैट गैप इन टाइम हैपेंस सो पेशेंट के सिम्टम्स वर्सन होने लगते हैं. So for these sort of things, we should involve family oftenly, and we should ask patient repeatedly if he is able to ask if he is in a right mentation कि आपको continuously कैसा लग रहा है, so that हम हर थोड़ी देर में in a 4 hour period or a 6 hour period और हमारी शिफ्ट में 2-3 बार at least we can come to know that what we are doing exactly is making difference in patient's clinical status, and same thing can be communicated. Now comes the legal aspect of it. So basically मेडिकल प्रोफेशन में जो बिगेस्ट जो नाइटमेयर होता है which is नेग्लिजेंसी. So if a person, a patient comes to us and the associated party feels like nursing staff or doctor or some other staff, hospital caring staff is not doing the thing which they should do, which they are supposed to do, that comes under the negligence. And if it causes grievous damage to the patient, it comes under 338 of IPC. Otherwise, it is 337 of IPC. It is just to enumerate the law under which these things comes. And this, because of this, many things had happened in past. Many things still happening. Many cases are ongoing just because of these things. And छोटी सी चीज can be avoided through proper documentation and saving those documents in an appropriate manner. So accurate record keeping is must. Hourly आपसे आपका hospital if had asked you for an hourly charting, then you should do hourly charting. Some areas in ICU like HDU where second hourly or fourth hourly charting is advisable, then we must do fourth hourly or second hourly charting in an appropriate fashion, in a right manner, rather than writing urine output on an hourly basis. If a person write the urine output every fourth hourly basis, dividing into the four parts and then writing down over the 4 hours, this gives a bad impression to the patient party that they thinks that he or she is checking me only fourth hourly, but he is writing down every hourly. So this thing happens oftenly that relatives comes to us or the patient says on rounds to us that so and so nursing staff wasn't working appropriately, and he or she had just seen me twice or thrice during the night time and had charted the whole thing in a fashion like he or she is observing me throughout the night and on an hourly basis. So this thing should not happen. Proper documentation is must. Transfer of professional responsibility, which we had already spoken about in nursing handover. Informed consent and confidentiality is our job, is a part of our job. So for whatever we are doing, some things requires written consent, some things doesn't require any sort of consent. So we can proceed with that, like cannulation, like Foley's catheterization doesn't require any consent. But it doesn't require written consent. It does requires patient's family's verbal consent and or patient's consent. So unless the family doesn't consent on phone or in presence that we don't want to get our patient catheterized, you can't just catheterize the patient. This comes under negligence. So informed consent is must, documentation is must, and uh, keep the thing confidential between patient party and ourselves is a part of our job. Every nurse is supposed to have a legal registration with the state medical authorities and national medical authorities. Every nurse must follow hospital policy and protocols as they had defined for every ICU, medical ICU, critical, हमारा neuro ICU and all. Liabilities and MLC should be handled appropriately, because what happens is a medical legal case comes, any flaw in document can charge you with lot of trouble. So we must avoid that at every cost. And I know you guys must be doing it. Now comes what are the challenges and barriers in an effective communication, in an effective nursing handover. So first thing first, communication problems is first and the foremost things which we often realizes in our handover practices. Miscommunication, unclear communication exchange, or lack of active listening are the most frequent barriers. This include incomplete, inaccurate, or ambiguous handover details leading to error in care. This must not happen. lack of standardization. If a person is just relying on their memory too much, so it is very wrong thing. It should not be appreciated. Absence of a structured format can lead to such sort of problems. So structured format should be used every time. It is just sort of a checklist, so that we can't fall through our memory and we miss important information to pass on. Inconsistent use of checklist and poorly defined protocols result in variable or misinformation. Environmental distractions, noise, interruption, and multitasking during handover reduce concentration and accuracy. So I know we all understand what happens is if a nursing person is caring for a patient which deteriorated at the 11th hour of his or her duty. So, in the haste of managing that patient, appropriate documentation, appropriate handover transference all become hampered. So, to clear it up, it is responsibility of the senior person over there, team leader, maybe doctor, or whoever the concerned third person, nursing person is there, so as to relieve the person who is giving handover for just 5 to 10 minutes so that the appropriate information can be passed upon to the second team. So environmental distractions can be avoided. So this is how we should roll. Apart from that, time constraint and workload are the two things which does hampers our appropriate nursing handover process. High patient load, urgent tasks, time pressure can cause rushed or omitted handover elements. Documentation issues we had discussed about, illegible handwriting, incomplete or missing records, written handovers, and over reliance on memory affect effective memory information transfer. So we should not do these things. We should have a proper checklist, and we should see through that checklist every time, every single time whenever we are giving the handover. It is not like हमारी शिफ्ट में कुछ नहीं हुआ, my shift went well, no change had been observed. This should not be the thing. Still, if no change had been observed, you should dictate all the vitals, all the changes, all the things which is relevant to the patient to another team. Human factor and teamwork, staff fatigue, inexperience, lack of engagement, uh, hierarchical attitudes, and poor interprofessional relationships hinder effective handover. So basically, sometimes what happens is post night duty, a person feels like dozing off, and still they have to give an handover. So the best thing is to sit down for 5 minutes with your colleague who is coming to taking the handover, and depending upon your SBAR criteria, just read through all those things and fill all those channels, fill all those blanks to your best of the knowledge regarding the patient, so that nothing can be missed over there. Confidentiality and privacy concerns are there with our nursing handover. So sensitive patient information may be exposed in open settings such as bedside handover, deterring disclosure or candid discussion. So basically, it is advisable while giving or taking handover bedside that a staff must keep their voices down to as much as low they can. Limited training and supervision of nursing staff can lead to this problems in nursing handover. If there is some sort of technology and resource barrier, like no HIS system is there, no appropriate SBAR criteria or SBAR document is there, then there can be challenges in our nursing handover thing. Incomplete or inaccessible electronic records, lack of integration between digital system, or unfamiliarity with electronic handover tools can lead to this. So depending upon, there are many case studies had been happened. I'm not gonna enumerate all of them, just some of them which are very famous. So depending upon them, what they recommend regarding the best practices to use during handover, using a structured and standardized communication approach, such as SBAR, situation background assessment recommendation, conducting handovers at a consistent time and place to avoid disruptions. So this can be a little bit farther area from the patient's bedside. थोड़ा सा आप पीछे होके, जहाँ पे थोड़ा सा जो क्राई एंड शोर की आवाज है उससे थोड़ा सा आप वो करके इन अ क्वाइट एरिया वी कैन गिव हैंड ओवर टू अवॉइड डिसरप्शंस बेसिकली. इसमें हमारे टीम लीडर, नर्सिंग टीम लीडर का जो दूसरे कलीग्स हैं उनका रोल आता है, डॉक्टर्स का रोल आता है. Performing bedside handovers involving patients and families when appropriate to promote patient-centered care and improve communication accuracy. We should accept this as a part of our job, that if we are giving a handover or we are nursing a patient, then their family will be standing by the side all the time, so that it not only gives patient comfort, हमें भी एक कंटिन्यूअस चेक रहता है दैट वी शुड नॉट फॉल थ्रू। हम कुछ भी और चीज जो हमारे मन में चल रही हो, समटाइम्स व्हाट हैपेंस इज इफ अ पर्सन स्टार्ट स्क्रोलिंग ओवर द इंटरनेट फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन, सो इट ऑल थिंग्स दीज ऑल थिंग्स शुड बी अवॉइडेड। जस्ट हमें ये पता रहता है कि जो पेशेंट के रिलेटिव हैं दे आर जस्ट लाइंग बिसाइड्स द बेड। Encouraging a respectful and collaborative attitude amongst all parties during handover to foster teamwork and share responsibility for patient care is must. We should practice these things. Now, lessons from case studies. Indian Neurosciences Center study 2011 में जो हुई, they highlighted variability in handover content and process. The lesson from that was standardized communication through protocols reduces information loss and improves patient safety. ऐसे ही वाइली में बेडसाइड नर्सिंग हैंडओवर केस स्टडी which demonstrated improved patient involvement and nurse satisfaction with bedside handover. So lesson was bedside handover fosters transparency and accuracy but requires managing interruptions carefully. ICU nursing team leader handover study showed that verbal handover alone is insufficient. Documentation and teamwork are vital. The lesson was मल्टीमोडल हैंडओवर कॉम्बिनेशन। जैसे हमारा जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन के लिए हम इस बार का यूज करते हैं फेस टू फेस हैंडओवर टेक्निक, इफ यू वांट टू राइट एनीथिंग अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस वी कैन यूज अ डायरी, एंड रिटन इंफॉर्मेशन enhances continuity in critical care. Communication failures during clinical handover study 2015 had found out communication breakdowns caused adverse events and medication errors. So lesson from that study was ensuring a quiet environment and structured handover tools like SBAR reduces errors. 2017 की एक study on nurses perception of bedside clinical handover revealed positive nurse feedback on bedside handovers, improving engagement but challenges in maintaining confidentiality. Lesson was balancing patient inclusion with privacy is essential during handovers. 2021 में impact of structured clinical handover protocol demonstrated improved communication quality and nurse confidence with a structured protocol. Lesson was training and protocol implementation significantly enhance handover effectiveness. So all those things we have discussed is based upon these sort of studies, and apart from that जो अभी 2024-25 की जो nursing care guidelines हैं as per that. So the conclusion and key takeaways from the whole symposium here is the recommendation for clinical practice in nursing handover emphasize the structure, communication quality, environment, and patient-centeredness, using a standardized framework such as SBAR to structure handover that prioritizes safety critical information and minimizes information loss. Conduct handovers at protected times with allocated duration, avoiding interruptions and distractions to ensure thorough and accurate transfer of care details. Consider the environment carefully. Bedside handover is recommended for patient involvement and transparency, but assessment of patient's preference and privacy needs to be essential. Involve patient and consent their carers in the handover to improve understanding, engagement, and shared decision making in care. Maintain clear objective and respectful communication. Avoid jargon or slang or local language between the two nursing staff, and verify understanding between giving and receiving staff. Ensure comprehensiveness comprehensive documentation and utilize digital solution wherever possible to support communication and accountability. Provide education and training on handover principles, including legal and statutory considerations such as confidentiality and relevant health acts. We all should be aware of. At least we have a hint of what all legal aspects of our handover or our nursing care is. There are actually. Promote clinical leadership and role modeling and handover practices to maintain standards and foster accountability. In our hospital, Artemis Hospital, we used to practice best nursing staff of the month. So basically, as to teach the rest of the staff that how good work should be done and to promote such qualities in our staff. Focus on person-centered care by respecting patient dignity, wishes, and incorporating relevant psychological and statutory information. Regularly audit and improve handover procedures, embedding the process into organizational policies and nursing education curriculum. So these recommendations are being supported by 2024-25 clinical guidelines and professional nursing bodies to enhance patient safety and quality of care during nursing handovers. So with this thing, uh, my whole topic finishes over here as far as I prepared. And customarily, some MCQs are to be asked depending upon what all we had studied till now. So, Deepaji, I would like to take some, I guess, raising hands. Shall we? Okay. So, okay. So,
Either they can put in the answers on the chat box.
that would be great. Yes.
Yeah.
So, the primary purpose of a nursing handover is to record patient data for audits, transfer accountability and continuity of care, reduce paperwork, communicate hospital policies. So, I just read option B, which is the right answer, being given by Devi and Gangnam Vaishnavi. You guys are right. I guess those who are not writing might have been thinking the right thing only. Answer is B. Which of the following is considered? Yes, yes. Ayub, you are right. It was B. Now we had moved on to second MCQ. Ayub, which of the following considered the best practice during bedside handover? Discussing patient detail outside the patient's hearing, involving the patient in the handover, excluding sensitive information completely, avoiding the outgoing nurse's input. So which among them is considered the best practice? Anybody?
Post your answers.
That's right. That's right. Right. So we know that involving the patient in the handover is the best practice to include. The IS bar framework, right? That's right, Sanjita. The IS bar framework used in handovers stands for. Now, I guess I get the maximum answers out of this, and all should be right. Right. Good, Ayub. Prompt answering. Right, Sanjita. That's right. Vaishnavi, that's right. Right, Simoli. Right. Right, Chandrama. So A, yes, yes, that's right. That's right. A is the right answer. Introduction, situation, background assessment, and recommendation. Which of the following information is least relevant to include in the nursing handover? Current vital signs and ongoing treatment, patient's personal conflict with staff, changes in patient's condition or new orders, or pending investigation and results. Now, this is a little bit tricky. So please take your time. The question is asking the least relevant thing. Okay, Devi. Changes in patient condition or new orders. A D, pending investigation. Ayub says C. So basically, the patient personal conflict with staff is the least relevant thing. I know what we had felt over here is it is emotional bias basically because we all must have felt through such sort of conflicts with the patient thing, and most of the time this happens that the person is considering himself or herself as a patient, used to dictate what a nursing staff should do to him or her, and depending upon this the conflicts happens. But guys, apart from that, you can't just leave changes in patient condition. This is what we had spoken about in our previous slides. And pending investigation and result is the second thing which you guys should include. Personal conflict can be taken care of later words, but all of these A, C, and D, if missed or if not included into your handover, can create havoc. What is the main risk associated with poor nursing handover? Main risk associated with poor nursing handover: delayed billing, medication error, and patient harm, increased staff workload, or documentation duplication. Main risk. Okay, so Vaishnavi is saying B and D. So, Vaishnavi, if I ask you, you have to name one. Yes. Yes, Ayub B. Chandrama says B. So it is just to clear out that documentation duplication is not a risk per se. So everybody else, including the person same saying B and D, was right. Medication error and patient harm can happen in a poor nursing handover. The most appropriate environment for an effective nursing handover is in a noisy nurses station, quiet private area with minimal distractions, in front of other patients for transparency, over the phone without written notes. Now, this is the convenient most things I had found. Even in our doctors, some people used to do it that they want to take a handover phone over phone, which is not the right thing to do. That's right, Simoli. And I guess everybody else agrees to this, right, Devi? You're right. That's right, Prasanti. Right. Everybody got this right. So purpose of this whole uh, presentation was this only to make you guys aware of what you do, to let you know your importance in day-to-day ICU life, not only of patient, to doctors also, and to rest of the healthcare providers. How important your work is. Option B was right. So nurses are the heart of healthcare. And with this thought, I would like to finish my whole lecture. And I'm sorry, really sorry if I bored you guys. And thanks a lot for everybody who had attended it. Every successful handover is a promise kept to our colleagues, our patients, and ourselves that safety comes first and no patient will ever fall through the cracks. Thank you, Sanjita. And thanks everybody else. Now we are open for, thank you, Prasanti. We are open for questions. Thank you. Thank you, Dhanna Angel.
Attendees, you can just post your questions so that we can have a discussion over it. I would also like to add a point to it on your fourth MCQ,
Mm-hmm.
where there was some confusion over handover and
Right.
diagnostic samples,
Mm-hmm.
pending investigations and results. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say there's a very common scenario when you receive a patient say at 1:30 p.m. and your handover is at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Patient query pneumonia करके आता है. We intubate the patient immediately. ET gram stain culture is a vital test that we need for the patient, right?
Right.
So we intubate the patient, plan a gram stain culture ET sample. 2 o'clock handover happens. A very important investigation is just missed. So just to give that handover, कि this particular investigation was not sent is also enough so that the next team can at least look onto it. Because then
Absolutely.
when you track your report, when you track your gram stain, say after 6 hours or 8 hours, and then the doctor realizes कि अच्छा sample ही नहीं गया. So kind
Right.
of your treatment, kind of your sampling is all into error because antibiotic के 1 or 2 doses have already gone in. So,
Right.
pending investigation and results ka handover, I feel is very, very important. We
Hmm.
should keep a very close watch on this.
Right. Right. So that's why the MCQ said the least relevant thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
the
know.
least relevant was this patient conflicts, and that's how I found a little bit of,
This
you
was a
know,
good one, actually.
yes, quite tricky. So,
Yeah.
but everyone agrees to it, and I'm really glad that understanding of all of our nursing staff is too good that most of the MCQs, in fact, all the MCQs had been answered right. So, anybody, if wanted to ask any question, please.
So, ma'am, do we stop the meeting because there are no questions yet? Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Deepaji, and very